is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're gonna be playing some defense in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So last year in 2K21, we did a defense video, which basically I broke down my defensive rotations, my thought process, the different schemes I run, what different settings I run, and this year it's gonna be even more complex, especially with the defensive settings, because some people run switch all, okay? So if you do run switch all, how does that impact what you can do? Also, guys, how does it impact it with Yao Ming now in the game, okay, and stuff like that? And also, guys, you know, do I press? What happens when I press? How does that impact settings? All of those things in this video. From full court rotations to half court rotations to some cheese that you guys need to know. We're going to be breaking it all down. So if you guys want to get better at the game, want to get better specifically defensively, you're going to watch this video. Maybe you have to rewatch some parts to see exactly what happens. But I like doing these videos because I like ultimately, guys, helping you out. It's going to be kind of a film breakdown more than anything. We're going to do some things. I'm going to show some rotations, just stuff so you guys can obviously see it. So, you know, get your notepad out, whatever you got to do. Take some notes because this is where we're really going to be playing some defense. We are on next gen, and that's where we're going to be doing our defensive video today, but a lot of what's on next gen relates to current gen. So when I say settings, a lot of the settings, honestly, guys, are the same. Now on settings, guys, we've got a lot to get into, and as we dive into it, guys, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you are new. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. So here's the deal, guys. We're going to talk about multiple settings you can run. First of all, I'm going to break down the settings I ran in the 250K tournament, okay? Settings I ran in the 250K tournament were smother, tight, go over, stay attached, yes, catch edge, and then you go no help. That's what I ran on both current gen and next gen. Now, what are the pros and cons of that? Well, the cons of it, the bad parts of it is when you do go over and catch hedge, you give up a lot of those slips. But you limit the threes, okay? That's kind of what you give and what you get from those specific settings. Now, settings a lot of people ran in the 250K tournament. I'm guessing it was smother tight, and then they did this. They switched. I think this is on auto. I think stay attached is on auto because you can't put it on yes, otherwise the switch won't work. And then no help. So it really depends, guys. If you do want to run the switch all scheme, it's harder to press with that because, I mean, then if you have Yao in your press, you might have Yao on a point guard the entire possession. It's just harder to run, again, if you do like pressing. The switch all scheme is just a little bit harder to run. It's honestly why I don't run this switch all scheme is because of I like pressing. But switch all probably the easiest defensive scheme to run. That's if you do run the switch all scheme, you're not going to have to worry about X switching at all, okay? So I like to X switch. You're not going to have to worry about that. Now, my most up-to-date defensive settings. The defensive settings I run is basically the same as the things I ran in 250K. Outside of, I go under all screens. Why? You guys might be asking why. Well, here's the deal. I get so tired of my guys getting crabbed by Luka Doncic and Michael Jordan that I'm just starting to go under screens. Now, you just got to be wary because, I mean, it has its flaws, right? Sometimes people can, if you go under too many screens, people will let it fly behind the screen, stuff like that. But I've had more success with go under than everything. Now, a lot of the go under, it kind of works hand in hand with X switching. So just kind of have that in the back of your guys' minds, what kind of defensive settings that you guys want to try out. For today's video specifically, we're going to be using multiple settings, but we're going to start with the go under scheme. Now, the first defensive thing I'm going to show you is one of the cheesy concepts that I specifically learned. Now, shout out to ImJustIsaac, okay? He's the one that really started this, okay? He used to rip people all the time on this. And again, a lot of people, when they play against the press, they want to slow the game down. And if somebody wants to slow the game down against me, you got to find a way to speed them up and get turnovers. Now, this is a cheesy thing that you can do to kind of speed the game up and to force turnovers. So they inbound the ball. And with Draymond, if they just want to stand there, you just basically spam square or X on Xbox. Again, it's nothing I did crazy. Normally, you'll get it on the first swipe, though. I just kind of want to briefly tell you guys. Normally, you will get it on either a foul or the swipe. Like right there, you'll get it. But when they're standing still, man, you can get easy steals on that, man. If you guys remember back to the 250K tournament, I did that 2 different times, back to back. And it really swung momentum. I was down like 18. and ripped him twice in a row because he was trying to slow the game down. And just like that, it was 12. 13-point game right after that. And that's just a massive swing. It's pretty easy to get done, but it's just a massive swing. So that's the cheese of the video, okay? That's the cheese. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. So, normally, guys, they're going to call for a screen. Okay, now what I like to do, if it's like a Draymond Giannis type, okay, in which both people can guard the big guys, I'm just going to switch that more times than not, okay? So, easy, guys, but know this. My Draymond and my Giannis don't automatically switch. You have to hold down X if you're on PlayStation, A if you're on Xbox, and you have to have stay attached on, and they'll switch this, okay? But you got to hold that down. Easy switch right there, forcing an 8-second violation. Okay, guys, most of you guys know I like to switch stuff in the full court type of situation. Here he sets one with Luka. Any guard to guard, most of the times I do switch. Now, here's the situation. Kazi's on Ben. Eventually, guys, I'm going to want to get those guys switched back off. But it's a pretty easy situation. Again, this is all done via X switch, okay? Now, Draymond on Luka, which I like. Kazi on Ben, which is fine. But it's pretty easy. That's just a simple X switch. So whether it is a guard to guard or big to big, in the full court type of situation, more times than not, I am going to simply X switch. Another one right here. There I just go under. Again, if I don't get hit by the screen and I get under it, this is how I normally play in my press, okay? If I want to play aggressive, I'll just X switch. Otherwise, I'll just get under and play just pretty solid, right? A lot of times I say stay solid. And honestly, guys, the more in my press that I just stay solid, the better I am. So there, you look at the shot clock and there's only 15 seconds. That's all because of my press. 15 seconds before he can get the ball to Luka Doncic and set up his offense. Now, a lot of people might ask, Ty, what if you need a turnover and they're not letting that strip just happen? What rotation do you go to? And honestly, guys, on next gen, it's really tough. This is a rotation I make more so on current gen. But you just basically throw Kazi out of the play. And then you click on the Marcus Smart up here and you try to get this pass over in here from Ben Simmons to Luka. You try to overplay it with Marcus. Now, again, I make this rotation way more on current gen than next gen. He didn't obviously throw it right there, but that's the rotation I'm talking about, guys. If you really desperately need a turnover, that's the one I lean into. So in the press, guys, we've talked about going under, just simply getting through it. We've talked about the X switch. We've talked about bringing Kazi up. The other thing we really haven't talked about is getting a bump steal on it, okay? It's hard for him to go sideline. He tries going middle. Easy bump steal. Now, obviously, there it didn't matter because the shot clock was winding down and the game time was running down. But it's one of those things you got to mix up your looks. You can't always go under. You can't always blitz. You can't always X switch. You can't always bring Kazi over. But if you do a combination of those 4 different things, it's going to rattle your opponent. The opponent's not going to know what you're going to do. There I get a simple bump steal. Sadly, Kazi couldn't grab it and score, but we still turned him over. So for full court defense, that's really it with the go under scheme. Now, here's the deal, guys. In the half court, I like going under. Why? Because if you go over and like X switching, it presents an easy opportunity for the opponent to slip the screen and get an easy 2 points. So here's the deal, guys. I like getting through the screen and going under. Luckily here, my Kazi goes under the screen. He does get hit a little bit, but goes under, still able to contest Luka Doncic, making him shoot it very early. It's a prime example right there of what go under can do for you. So far, what we have seen, guys, is these defensive settings. Go under, where it's easy to X switch and then get out of the X switches. You can 3 on a little bit, but it's still tough to get them off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to switch all. Now, again, switch all is one of these guys that it's not necessarily the easiest to attack. All he's going to be able to really do is mash against this. And even at that, it's going to be pretty difficult. If you do want to switch screens, guys, here's really what you're looking at, okay? Most people that switch screens play gaps. So they'll play this gap with Marcus Smart in here, and then they'll play this gap with Draymond Green. Switching all does allow you to play gaps a little bit better. Here, simple X switch, doesn't really have anywhere to go. He goes into Kazi Russell, and look, Kazi's got good interior. More often than not, though, you're just going to have to foul and live to fight another day. Now, if you guys are wondering why I don't like running switch all, here it is. I hate pressing with switch all. I hate it. Now, why? Okay, it might not seem like the worst. Hakeem on Ben, Draymond on KP. Oh, okay, that's not bad. Now, what about this? What if you have Michael Jordan up here and you have Yao Ming set in the screen? So then you got Yao Ming on let's say, Luka. You got Yao Ming on Luka, and then my Michael Jordan on KP. Then you just got a mess, guys. And that's why I don't like it, man. I don't want my matchups to be ruined coming up the court. I despise that. So that's kind of my reason for not running the press right there. Obviously, Draymond got a fake stop, and Draymond is different on the interior. But if that's a guy like Michael Jordan and Yao Ming, it's an easy bucket. Here, guys, we got another possession of switch all in which, got Marcus Smart on KP. I overcommitted and gave up a 3. That's the problem, though. Once you get small guys on the big, you got to overreact a little bit. Here, guys, now most of you guys are going to have a better defensive player than Jerry Sloan. But here's the deal, guys. With Jerry Sloan, again, it's switch all. I don't love this because, you can easily get fried with it. And I just think it's too exposable, but again, a lot of people have success with it. And for example, if you have a guy like Draymond on ball, Draymond's not going for that. So that right there, guys, was the switch all defense. Again, it can have some success, not my favorite. Now, the last thing we're going to show is the go over scheme. Now, again, the go over I run with catch hedge, and you got stay attached on. Again, if you do run switch, you're not really X switching. It's not really a big part of your defense. Whereas if you run go over or whatever else you need, stay attached on so you can X switch. Now, this possession is the main type of possession and the reason I don't run go over anymore, because here's what happens. Now, I'm not even guarding with Draymond, but normally Draymond, if you're running go under, is up in here getting under the screen. He's so tight right here, which if you like X switching, it just puts you in so much of a disadvantage because right now he's got an easy layup already, and where, if you go under, he's already down here and is, more apt to defend against that. So that's kind of my position on the go under type of thing. It's fine if you get the bump, but if you don't get the bump, you're giving up easy dunks and layups. Now, guys, we're going back to the meat and potatoes of the video, okay? If you run go under and where you pinch from, okay? Obviously, I like being involved with the pick and roll, X switch, and stuff like that. But some alternatives is doing what I just did with Draymond. Did y'all see this? Okay. He comes off the screen, and I'm in the middle with Draymond. If he throws it to Ben, I might get the steal. He might be able to shoot it, get it lightly off with Luka, but he really has nowhere to go with it. And just like that, you force a pass into a bailout, into an easy steal. More than anything, guys, showing different looks, whether it's being involved in the screen, whether it is rotating from the hash, it gets your opponent rattled. Here he thinks Luka's just going to take it, and then he sees Draymond coming over, hits the wrong icon, and we got an easy steal headed the other way. The last one of those rotations, guys, just showing you exactly what it does. I don't help as much with Draymond, but if you up a couple times in here with Draymond, he's going to think, okay, dot the hash. Little does he know I'm showing, but I'm not coming over all the way. Too late. Easy steal with Draymond Green, and we're headed the other way. That simple rotation can definitely help you guys out. Now, before I show this last rotation, I want to say these work better on current gen than next gen. So if you are on current gen, these rotations are still to this day going to work better. But it's all about showing different looks. You can be a little more aggressive with these looks on current gen as well because it's easier to recover. But we just showed from hash, okay? What other rotation can we do? We can show up from the corner with Draymond. Now, by the time he realizes where my Draymond is, I'm already clicked to Giannis. He's already in this drill move. So as early as he can throw this pass is right now. And that's when he throws it, and little does he know that's too late. Let's watch that whole thing again, okay? He's just worried about the pick and roll. He sees Giannis, panic throws it to the corner, and it's an easy steal for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I would say it's smart to go about 50-50. 50-50 on being involved in the pick and roll, X switching, going under, stuff like that. And 50-50 in trying to set up your next rotation. So here, right, I got the middle cover. I'm stepping up with Hakeem. I actually X switched it, so this looks wide open. But by that time, I'm clicking on DeMarcus Smart for an easy bump steal. It's one of those things, you shrink the floor. Me, by stepping up with Hakeem, you shrink the floor. You got 3 guys all into basically the corner here. Can easily bump steal, get that bump steal with Marcus Smart. It's all about switching up those looks. So as you guys saw, man, there's so many different looks you can show. There's so many different rotations you can make. Now, I would say it's not as complex as last year just because everybody's primarily on next gen. Again, you can be a little more over aggressive on current gen. It's mainly those same rotations though. But those swing from the hash and then rotating from the hash to the middle and then rotating from the corner up type of rotation on next gen is just not it. It still can work a little bit on current gen, but those rotations aren't really as effective as they once were. Now, these rotations that I've just showed you guys, the pinch from the corner, pinching from the hash, as well as rotating up from the corner, dropping from the hash, are probably the 3 most common rotations I make in the half court. And in the full court, guys, it's all about showing different looks. Now, again, stay firm, okay? That's the main thing I can say. Don't over gamble. Don't, do too much, and you guys are going to have some success. Again, guys, the little tips and tricks like getting the steal off the inbounds are stuff like most people in the community don't know. So if you do press, a lot of people just stand there with the ball, and you can get some easy turnovers that way. But that is going to wrap it up for my video today, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and hopefully you guys can get better on the defensive end of the court because of it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.